we came back.
He had to come back. I had to go get my power cord for my thing. So.
I did email the boss, by the way.
Did you?
Just to make him aware of that it's...
That everybody's leaving work?
I'm
out of here right after this segment. When I'm done, I'm out of here.
Ron's leaving.
Ron the Car Guy is here, ladies and gentlemen, to teach you something about your car that you may or may not have known, but if nothing else, it'll be interesting because he brought something that looks disgusting from here.
I did bring some disgusting stuff. And it's June. And it's warming up, and so we're rolling into air conditioning season. And through AskRonTheCarGuy.com, I've got some air conditioning questions that people sent in that we're going to talk a little bit about. And the first one was sent to me by Thomas. He lives in Polk City. And this is a question we get a lot each year, and I wanted to make sure everybody was clear on it. He said, last year my AC quit working. It was found to have a small leak. I was told it could not be recharged until the leak was fixed. However, in the past, I've had cars that were recharged every year. Has something changed? And the answer is, Thomas, you were told wrong. I mean, that's bad information. And back when years ago, we had to switch from R12 Freon to the R134A, and it was all about the environment and stuff. And the government and the laws strongly suggest that leaks be fixed before cars are recharged. Don't just recharge and let it leak into the air.
Right.
But there is no law that says that has to be fixed before it can be recharged.
Because leaks are not uncommon.
No, they're not uncommon. I mean, you've got flexible lines connecting parts that move in a car, and unlike your house where everything can be hard soldered together, leaks are going to happen. And as cars get older, oftentimes what I tell people is sometimes the fix for your air conditioning is to recharge it and let it leak.
Right.
You know, if you've got a car that's 8, 10, 12 years old and it's got a really small leak where you can charge it up in the spring and it might last all summer and then need to be recharged again the next year, that's the cheapest fix, is to just recharge it.
How much is a charge nowadays?
Depending on the capacity of the vehicle, you're probably looking around $100, $120.
And to repair a leak?
Well, you're still going to have the recharge. You're going to have you're still going to spend the $120, and then you're going to have whatever the component or the labor is to do it. And I mean, you're not going to fix a leak for, under $200 or $300 plus that $120 charge. And so let's say you've got a 12-year-old car, and you're going to keep it another 3 or 4 years. As long as the leak doesn't get worse, that's oftentimes a decent fix for it. But you got to keep in mind, you're not fixing the car. You're making the air conditioning work. The leak's still there.
What is that leak? Is that a harmful leak?
It's really not harmful to you. There's controversy as to whether or not the refrigerant that's leaking out of there is harmful to the atmosphere. Certainly the former refrigerant we used, the R12, was harmful, which is why they quit production of it and they came up with the 134A. And now we're working on yet again a replacement for 134A because they're unsure if it's harming anything in the environment or in the ozone layers. But the fact is, if you buy a brand new car today, the refrigerant in it at some point in time is going to leak out and go into the atmosphere.
They don't have any like Ron's bars leak for
well, they did for a while, but it created havoc. Not only did it plug up the system,
it plugged up the system.
Well, it did plug up the system, but it plugged up our equipment that we used to service it. Yeah. We would have and so now they make pre-filters and stuff for the equipment we use because. And other companies have come to the bandwagon. There's all kinds of mixtures and different types of refrigerant that came out. We now have to have identifiers so we can identify what's in the system because it might be something that the manufacturer didn't put in there.
Right.
Sure.
So
the best fix might just be charging it every season.
Absolutely. Find out if it has a leak, how hard it is to find or fix the leak, and oftentimes the best fix is if it'll last the whole season, just charge it up, let it go. There's sometimes we can't find the leak. It's so small, or it only leaks under certain conditions, and then you have to charge it up. So Thomas, yes, you can recharge your system without fixing the leak. The other one, and I brought some things here to talk a little bit more about this, is Andrew from West Des Moines had sent in a question. He said, my car smells like old socks when I turn my AC on. The air's cold, but the smell is bad. Can that be fixed?
I've had a couple cars do that.
Yeah, just take the old socks out.
I was going to say, that's what I'd recommend.
But no, what's going on with Andrew's car is inside the car, up under the dash, there's a component called an evaporator. And that is what this unit is. We actually removed this from a car yesterday that came in that had some issues. And here we go, Craig. What I wanted to show...
Toward the bottom, Craig.
Looks like you dug it out of the ground.
We're going down here, Craig.
Okay.
You can see over here. Boy, this is kind of weird using your fingers in the camera.
could grow seeds.
There you go. That's what we're looking
right
for.
here. But you can see what happens is we get debris and stuff built up in this. And not only do we get leaves and bugs and God
Rodents.
knows, yeah, well, we do get rodents, but not God knows what all. This is also where the mold and the mildew grows, is on the front of this. And that's what creates that smell.
Because the evaporator creates moisture on the fins.
Absolutely, and that's the water that you see come out of your car when the air conditioning system runs. What happens is the hot air in the car gets pulled across this. It gets sucked in here, and as it comes across, the freon's running through the inside of this.
Okay.
And the refrigerant, as it runs through there, cools the air down, takes the heat out of the air, and when that transfer accumulates, this thing sweats. I mean, it looks like it's doing jumping jacks in the attic. It is sweating so bad, and that's where you see the water come out from underneath the car. So this thing runs in a very wet environment, and it's it's susceptible to mold and mildew, which is what grows on there and creates that smell. Now, there's a couple ways to address that. One, they make a foaming kit, and it's a machine. I didn't bring it along, where we can inject because you can't see this. It's
Right.
part inside the plastic. It's buried. It took almost 6 hours to get to this one, and then we had 12. We're gonna have 12 hours into replacing this component. But what happens is we can inject foam in there that will go in and it'll kill the mold and the mildew, and then if you can keep it dry or keep it treated after that, it will not smell. And by dry and treated, what I was going to talk about is there's a couple things to do. This is a professional product called FrigiClean. You can use Lysol, but where the air is sucked into the vehicle, usually around where the wiper blades are, you can spray that when the air conditioning's running, the fan's on high, and it will suck it in and kind of coat the front of this. Obviously, when it gets this bad,
You got to clean it somehow.
Exactly. In this particular one, not only did it have that problem, it also leaks. It leaks Freon, which is why we're replacing it. But this is what's causing that smell. Now, General Motors and a couple other manufacturers have actually come up with this kind of a neat idea. We can do a software update to the car's computer if you've got this problem, especially if you live in a higher humidity area. And we can tell the computer, okay, after the car's shut off and you've walked away, and the temperature's a certain degrees, I mean, all these criteria is met, turn the fan on.
And dry it out.
And let it suck air through here, which will dry it out. This is after you've left the car. So
Good idea.
And it works. It works really, really well. If somebody's not aware that that's been done to the car, they might bring the car in and say, hey, after I park my car, I go out in the garage 15 minutes later, my heater fan's running. But it's doing it to dry that out.
Is there any way to prevent that from happening?
We've come up with a great item that everybody ignores and overlooks and it's not on every car, but it's on a lot of cars. It's called the cabin air filter.
Right.
And it actually slides in and it mounts in front of this to keep all this debris and junk from getting in there. But like anything else, if the cabin air filter gets plugged and restricted and isn't changed, the air is going to get around it. It doesn't seal up that tight, and then you're going to have this problem. Or the other thing that we see is people don't want to spend the $40 to put a cabin air filter in, so they just take it out, and then they operate the car without it.
And then this plugs up.
This plugs up again. So.
All right, so people have questions. How do they get a hold of you?
Well, we do just like Thomas and Andrew did. You can contact me through askronthecarguy.com. Or you can get a hold of me at Westside Auto Pros. I answer all questions.
Well done, Ron the Car Guy.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Sir, it is 5 minutes before 7 o'clock. We'll be right back. You're watching